morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to my new video. I'm going to be talking about the Foreign Legion going into Ukraine to fight for Ukraine. And there's about 20,000 of them. Americans, British, other Europeans, but also Japanese as well. There seems to be some Japanese volunteers going, which I have no idea what they're doing there. So you can see here by the New York Post, 20,000 foreign volunteers have signed up to fight in Ukraine. So before I talk about this, don't forget to like, share, subscribe. I really could use your help for the algorithm. And also if you guys can comment as well. I love reading your comments and I love interacting with you guys. So keep the comments coming. I try and respond to each and every one of you. And also, if you guys want to join me on my Patreon, if you really want to support this channel and if you really want to support me in what I'm doing, then you're welcome to join me on my Patreon. I've got 44 right now. Let's try and bring it up to 50. And also, if you really like the channel, you're welcome to buy me a coffee as well. So without further ado, let's get on with the show. You can see a lot of missiles are hitting some barracks, and they're saying about 200 soldiers were sleeping in the barracks. So it's not just Ukrainian soldiers are being killed, apparently. There's also a lot of mercenaries. And I suspect a lot of these mercenaries are using their phones, and this is how Russian military is using pinpoint accuracy to destroy these locations. And as you know, Russia is no Iraq or Afghanistan. So when you're fighting in Iraq or Afghanistan, there's no danger of your barracks being attacked by missiles, because Iraqis or Afghans or Syrians don't have that technology. But when you're fighting against Russia, you know, and you're sleeping in barracks and you're using your phones and you have your location set, you know, chances are Russians will attack. Russians will find out where you are and they will attack with pinpoint accuracy. And this isn't the 1950s or 60s where, you know, you use mortar bombs and you'll be lucky to hit the barracks. If Russia can find out where you are using the GPS, they can, 9 times out of 10, they can hit you with pinpoint accuracy. So you can see here, Mr. Ingram described mobile devices as perfect target locating beacons for an enemy. And there's a picture of Liz Truss here, because she's obviously sending lots of British people to their deaths. You can say Liz Truss blaming her for encouraging Britons to volunteer. But you got to also blame these foreign brainwashed idiots who not only going into Ukraine for the wrong reasons, not understanding the reasons why there's a war between Russia and Ukraine, but they're also being fed false propaganda, thinking that Russian military is like going into Iraq or Afghanistan, where Russian military is not technically advanced. They did not realize that Russia can pinpoint accuracy. With pinpoint accuracy, they can find out where you are, and they don't even need to send tanks or airplanes. They can just send long-range ballistic missiles and hit your location. Any effort whatsoever. And you can see here, the British Defence Intelligence Officer says Russia would be monitoring the phone networks in Ukraine for unusual activities such as foreign devices joining. So it's very easy, very easy for the Russian military to pinpoint your location. And I have seen in Instagram, I have seen in like TikTok, where you have all of these foreign mercenaries posting pictures of their location, posting videos of their location, and they're posting it on social media. And these guys are probably still on social media with their location set to on, and they don't realize the dangers they're putting themselves and their colleagues and everyone else around them. And it just shows the intelligence of these guys. So going back to this article, Foreign Legion volunteers flee Ukraine after Russian missile strike on training base. So what this story is trying to cover is a number of foreigners traveled to Ukraine to fight against the Russians have already begun to flee the country, apparently unprepared for the brutal realities of war against a modern conventional military. The article you just saw is actually based on this guy, Henry Hoft. So he's an American and he signed up to fight in Ukraine. So he's gone to Ukraine, and he posted a video out a couple of days ago talking about the harsh realities of war, and basically he changed his mind and he's been trying to come back to America. So what happened was there was a couple of missile strikes by Russia, destroying some bunkers and training facilities near where he was living, and people died, and harsh reality kicked in, and he's been trying to escape since. So he's put his story up on social media, and I'm gonna share it with you guys.
Wondering what is going on, alright? We were part of the Georgia National Legion, the 102nd Ukrainian Territorial Defense, okay? Our base got fucked up. The base right next to us got fucked up. Americans, British, tons of British dead, alright? They're not saying nothing. They're counting our dead as their dead. They're trying to send us to Kiev with no fucking weapons, no kit, no fucking plates. The people who are lucky enough to get weapons are only getting magazines with like 10 fucking rounds, okay? When they wanted to send us to Kiev, we said no. Our whole group, a bunch of Americans, Canadians, British. So they told us we had to get the fuck out or they were going to shoot us in the back, alright? So me, this British guy, and another American, we fucking hid in the back of an ambulance to get out. We got to the border, and it was a whole nother mess. When you get to the border, anyone who has kit, anyone who has any military shit, they're fucking pulling you out of the line and they're sending you back to the front. We got dropped off about 5 clicks from the fucking, from the border, and we walked. And we get to the border, and this humanitarian group with a bunch of ex-SF veterans from England pull us to the side and say, you need to get, like, pulled us out and fucking, like, hit us. And they were like, you need to dump all your kit. They're pulling people out, cutting up passports, sending them back. So we dumped our shit. We got, like, in all of our fucking, we got in, like, Red Cross vests, and they had, like, fucking humanitarian passes to get us through the Ukrainian border. People need to stop coming here. It's a trap, and they're not letting you fucking leave. The best way to leave is like in a Vic or a car or something. People who get on by vehicle have a better chance of hiding their fucking kit in the back, doing whatever the fuck they can, but do not try to leave Ukraine on foot if you're a volunteer. It's a mess, and it's a trap. And I have multiple people who can confirm this story for me.
It's not just him. You can see here, Reddit Rambo they call him, French deserter, filmed himself literally crying as he fled Russian bombs. And you can see here from this clip, basically, it says here, French foreign fighter, when the foreign camp got destroyed, cries as he flees the camp into the safety. He says his friends are killed in the strike and someone is leaking information about the base. Listen, mate, nobody's leaking information about the base. It's basically you're the one that's leaking information about the base. You're posting stuff on, look at him, voilà, he's posting stuff on social media and he says somebody's leaking information about the base. Doesn't he? Is it that stupid? Doesn't he know when you start posting stuff on social media, your location is captured? And it's very easy for a technologically advanced country like Russia to pinpoint you and start throwing missiles at you. This guy is so stupid. I mean, look at this clip. Look at this clip.
Je viens d'être bombardé, on s'en va. J'ai des copains qui sont morts, donc on se recule, on se barre. La base a été détruite. Faut que je reprenne 2 minutes là. Voilà. La base a...
I've got no sympathy for this guy, no sympathy at all. He's crying, he's filming himself crying. I bet he did not expect Russian bombs falling on his head and falling on his friend's head. What did he think this was, Iraq or Afghanistan, where they have no technology, where they can't pinpoint you? This guy, I've got no sympathy for him whatsoever. There's an article about him on the Daily Mail as well. People are ridiculing him, saying he ran away, etc. So there you have it, his story. He went to Ukraine, he signed up for Ukraine, he thought it would be good fun. He thought he's playing Call of Duty in real life. He thought, yeah, let me go there. I'll have my gun, I can shoot people, kill people. It'll be like Call of Duty, it'll be a good fun. Maybe he served in Iraq, maybe, or Afghanistan, and he missed all of that action. And obviously, Iraq and Afghanistan, he's probably been shooting innocent bystanders or innocent people, and probably had a lot of fun because they didn't shoot back, or they didn't try and shoot back. And he didn't expect Russia to start missile bombing his base. And as soon as he realized you're fighting against a very technologically advanced army who's organized, very much like the US military, and they're throwing missiles into their base, into their training centers, where apparently hundreds of people have died. All foreigners, by the way. They're trying to hide it, they're trying to keep it down because they don't want this news to fly around to the rest of the world. Russia is going to be targeting these foreigners because they don't have the same rights as Ukrainian nationals. These are not POWs. So if Russia captures these foreign fighters, they will treat them like terrorists. They'll either kill them or they'll put them in jail and not give them any rights whatsoever, like Guantanamo, like America did to all of the foreign fighters in terms of Al-Qaeda and things like that. So Russia's not going to show them any respect whatsoever. And I don't think this guy expected Russia to be so sophisticated in terms of its military. I mean, those specific strikes hit that training bunker and killed all of his colleagues, killed a lot of British people as well. And I don't think he expected that. I thought he probably expected to go there and just have a good laugh, start shooting at some Russians. He did not expect some missiles to be falling on his head, falling on his friends' heads. And he decided enough was enough, time to go back to America. And he's been trying to run away, and obviously he's going under disguise, trying to run away and trying to get out of the country. And every time he tries, he gets sent back to the front line. And I don't think he expected how unorganized it is, or what a ridiculous idea it was to go to Ukraine in the first place. So I just don't understand how these people can be so brainwashed that you think you would just volunteer and go to Ukraine. You're not even getting paid for it, by the way. You're not getting paid for it. And if you've got family, what about your kids? What about your parents? What about your friends? And if you die, then what's going to happen to them? They're going to be obviously distraught. They're going to be upset. So you're putting your friends and family through all of this for nothing. If you get injured, say you don't get killed, say you get injured, your leg blows up or something, or your hand blows up, who's going to pay for it? The American military is not going to pay for it because you don't fall under their injury in battle, because you're not fighting for the US military, you're not fighting for the British military. So you're going to have to go walk around with no legs, no hands for the rest of your life. No one's going to pay for that. I mean, I don't know what these people are thinking. Absolutely crazy. But I gotta say, I have some idea. The media's got a lot to blame for this. A lot. You got Liz Truss saying she will support British people going to Ukraine to fight. And then you got American news channels like Fox News and other news channels glorifying it. And I'll show you an example. I'll show you what I mean.
Are you prepared, Shane, to go into war?
I don't think anybody's prepared to go into war. But if I have to, which I feel that I have been called to do, if war is that calling, then absolutely. And then you see what people are going through there. Missiles going into children's schools, hospitals, their homes. It isn't military upon military, it's a man that is now putting his military towards civilians.
Even though he's got a great job, a loving wife, and 2 young children at home, he's wanting something else right now.
He's obviously been brainwashed. He feels that he's going there and do a noble job. He's going there to help protect the civilians. He thinks that Russia is targeting civilians and hospitals and stuff, which is obviously not true. So a lot of these media is feeding these American public. Probably noticed the propaganda music, the X Factor style music in that documentary you just saw. You know, they try and bring up the drama as high as possible. They're trying to think it's like some sort of X Factor audition where you audition to go to war in Ukraine. That's absolutely ridiculous the way American media works. They've all been given a false narrative and completely being brainwashed by American media. And when innocent civilians are being killed in Yemen, you know, we're talking about hundreds and thousands of people being killed in Yemen, and all of these hundreds and thousands of innocent people being killed in Syria. Is he going to volunteer to go to Yemen? Is he going to volunteer to go to Syria? What about hundreds and thousands of people that got killed in Iraq and Afghanistan by his own people? Is he going to go and help those civilians there? Of course not. There is so much fake news going around since this war started. I've seen stories about the ghost pilot in Ukraine where pictures were taken from a game. I've seen stories about dead bodies on the floor. Then one of these dead bodies starts, getting up and looking around and going back onto the floor. I've seen a story where there's a reporter that they said that got killed by Russians actually is the same reporter that got killed in Iraq. Exactly the same picture. There's loads, and I'm actually going to do a video about this. So maybe over the next few days you'll see me creating a video about all of these ridiculous false stories. Unfortunately, there's people out there who are believing in it, who are believing that, Russia is actually targeting, schools and hospitals when they might not be. It might be lies, or it could be that the Azov militants might be using schools and hospitals as human shields. It could be they could be stocking weapons there. Who knows? And a lot of these people are falling for it. They're falling for all of this fake news that's going around. You got Liz Truss saying, "Oh, I'm going to support people going to Ukraine to fight," and these American Fox News channels which are glorifying it. Let's look at a few more as well. It's absolutely ridiculous. There's one guy with 7 kids, and he's going as well.
Recently overcome what was thought to be a terminal illness, the father of 7, who has a master's degree in social work, says he sees purpose in joining the fight.
So you got a guy here with 7 kids. 7 kids! How selfish is that? If he goes to Ukraine and dies, what about his poor wife with 7 kids? How's she going to look after 7 kids by herself? How selfish is that? Is that selfish or is that stupid? Seriously. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And if he gets injured, if he gets his leg blown off or his hand blown off, how useless is he going to be? His wife's going to have to look after 7 kids, and she's going to have to look after him as well. I can't believe these wives are letting these men go to Ukraine and fight, leaving them by themselves with all of these kids. Unless these wives want them to go to die, maybe these wives have had enough. They've had enough of their stupidity. Maybe she says, "You know what, love? Go to Ukraine. I'll support you. Don't worry." Or maybe some of these wives are having an affair and they just want to get rid of him. Who knows? I've got to say, not all Americans are brainwashed. You still got a lot of intelligent people living in America, like this guy. His name is Brian Mitchell, and watch what he says.
Well, I just wanted to get your thoughts on the whole Russia and Ukraine situation.
Here's my first thought is I'm not going nowhere to fight none of these wars for these politicians. I'm staying at home, and when the war comes to Arkansas, I will dig my boots in the ground and I will die for everything I love, and I will not retreat. If this country's invaded and Everybody's saying, well, we gotta evacuate, we gotta leave, I will not. I will dig my boots in the Arkansas soil and I will fight for the people that I love, for the land that I love, and the way of life that I love. But I'm not going overseas to fight. I don't know what's going on, to be honest, brother. I really don't. There's so much stuff, and I don't think nobody knows what's going on fully. There's been so much political corruption in that area. You got Biden and his son making a shit ton of money off of and using our tax dollars to bribe their people. That's treasonous, in my opinion. So you got Hunter Biden and his son using our tax dollars. Hey, if Ukrainian government, if you don't do this, we're taking your tax dollars. He shouldn't be giving our tax dollars to that country anyway. We got veterans out here sleeping on the street, and you're going to give our freaking tax dollars to these Ukrainians and all. Brother, I don't know what's going on over there, but I'm not going over there and fighting, and God bless anybody that's over there that's fighting, and I hope that the shit just gets solved. And man, I don't like war. You know what I mean? I don't want people dying and all that stuff. I don't want to be, but I don't know what's going on. There's so much stuff that I think that's corrupted that we just don't know what's truly going on over there. And I pray all those people are safe.
So you see, you got to give him some respect. You know, he makes a lot of good points. And even though he doesn't know what's going on in Ukraine, and I don't think a lot of Americans do. A lot of Americans do not know where Ukraine is on the map. And they do not know the history of what's happened in Ukraine. But a lot of Americans should really stand up and question what the government is doing, what Biden is doing, and all of this hysteria with Ukraine, and why Biden is sending money to Ukraine, and why Biden is not focusing on the local things like inflation and, you know, cost of living, the high gas and oil prices, the increase of taxes, increase of interest rates, you know, all of these homeless people living in American streets, all of these veterans who come back injured with PTSD from Iraq and Afghanistan not getting the help. You see, there's a lot of problems in America which Biden needs to focus on. But no, all you see right now is him focusing on Ukraine. And all the news channels are just focusing on Ukraine. So I respect American people like that, and most people around the world who actually question what the government's doing and question what news is coming out, you know, by the media, by the mainstream media. And even though you got to respect him, even though he doesn't know what's going on in Ukraine and he doesn't even care by the looks of it, he knows he's being lied to. He knows he's being lied to by the media. He knows he's being lied to by the government. And all of this is a smokescreen to cover their own failures. Biden thinks he's got perfect excuse for his own failures. The fact that the economy is crumbling, there's huge high gas prices, and what does Biden do? He calls it a Putin hike. You know, you got to pay the Putin hike, apparently. All the Americans around the world is blaming Putin for all of his failures, all of them. And I respect Americans who actually see the truth and wake up to the fact that they're being lied to. Then you have celebrities jumping on the act as well, and I've just seen this article by Arnold Schwarzenegger telling Russians they're lied to about this illegal war with Ukraine. And I gotta say, guys, Arnold Schwarzenegger is one of my all-time favorite heroes. I love the guy. I've watched all his films. I've seen some of his movies hundreds of times, like Predator, Total Recall. He got Terminator. He made some amazing films back in the day. I loved all of his films. I loved watching his movies growing up. I always wanted to be Arnold Schwarzenegger. What's my favorite Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, you might say? I would say it's Conan the Barbarian. Definitely, I've seen that film hundreds of times. That is my childhood. When I was a little kid, I wanted to grow up to be Conan. And he is definitely one of my heroes. So I'm going to be quite nice to him and say this in the nicest possible way. Please, sir, just stay out of politics. And on that note, guys, I'm going to have to call it a day, and I'll see you in the next video. And on that note, I'm going to leave you with some of my favorite Arnold Schwarzenegger quotes and a very good impression of his. Let me know what you guys think, and I look forward to reading your comments. I'll be back. I got a Uzi 9mm in my pocket. Your clothes, your gun, give them to me now. Get to the chopper!